Um, an outdoor kitchen for a 1-year-old for his 1-year-old birthday. So I had a picture to work from, and I'm coming up with some ideas, and I drew a design. And so I'm working on this morning. I glued up the boards. I used number 2 SPF that I just bought at the local lumber yard, and I jointed all the edges, and then I connected them with biscuits and glue, and I've got them here right now all clamped up. I've got 2 pieces. I've got the base where the sinks will go. There's going to be 2 little sinks go in here. There's a back going to go that's sitting over there against the door that will have a couple shelves and a place to hang some utensils. So I'm getting ready to take the clamps off. Once again, you can never have enough clamps. I used 8 just doing this. And going to take the clamps off, try to clean some of the glue up, and then we'll go from there. Clamps off here. I've had this glued up for about 3 hours, and I don't want to do any work on it yet other than cleaning up some glue. I used to use water and clean it off right away, and guess I learned over the years that tends to distort the wood, especially if you're going to stain it. I'm not going to stain this in this case, but using a scraper to clean the glue off works really good, and it also helps to level out any uneven spots you might have. So never had a scraper for years, and I finally got one, and it's really handy for a lot of things. So I'm going to give this a try, see how it works. Probably hard to see from there, but that takes that glue off really nice. Like I said, you can tell where you've got some high spots, and it really cleans that up well. So I'll keep working on that, get all that cleaned off, and then we'll go from there. Okay, it's Saturday morning. I got all the top and the back glued up, got all the glue cleaned off, and a rough sanding on it. I'm going to wrap the edge with a piece of 1x that's 1.5 inches wide. I'm going to go along the front side. This would give the edge a little bit of a thickened edge, plus would give it a little support. And then we'll nest a 1x that's 1.25 inches wide. And I'm going to line it up at this one end and start working my way down. Just line the front, line the side. A little glue on there, it gets a little slippery. Make sure I got the right nails. A little glue squeeze out. I'm going to go along and work this as I go down so that I keep the front staying nice and square is what I really want it for. We got the front edge on, so I'm going to go cut the other 2 pieces, and we'll put both sides on. Okay, so I got these pieces wrapped around the edge on the bottom side, and I'm trying to set up here. You got to remember, I'm not working with a set of plans here. This was taken from a picture, actually 2 or 3 pictures that we combined together. I drew up a rough plan. And so we're kind of making it as we go, based on some general dimensions and that kind of thing. So the next step, I've got the legs cut. I'm going to mount them on a piece of 1x that then will mount to the top. There'll be a stringer that goes in between here, but I wanted to lay out, these are the sinks. I'm using 2 small kind of cocktail sinks or bar sinks instead of 1 big one. And I'm glad I looked at this and laid it out because these are 15-inch sinks, so 30 inches you need a little space, and the table is 6 foot long, so I actually need to move these center legs a little bit off of center, which is still going to give us the support. It'll look good and we'll be okay, but I'm glad I went ahead and looked so I know I get the legs positioned right, so that when I cut in the tops, we'll be looking good. So next step, I'm going to build the legs. I'm not going to attach them at this point because I'm going to paint those. We're going to treat the back and the top a little bit differently. We've got to mount the sinks and all that stuff. The legs will go on later, but I'm going to get them built so that I know they're all good and ready to go. Again, there's going to be a 1x on the bottom that will attach to the top, and then there'll be a stringer in between. So going to get started on those. Okay, so I've got the legs built. I use pocket screws to attach the spreaders or stringers here. Attach these with some 1x's to the top of these legs, and then to the underside of the top, so I wouldn't have any exposed fasteners. I've kind of lined up the sinks where I want them to go here. I'm going to mark them and get measurements, and then I'll be turning this over so that I can get the sinks in place and cut them with the template that they provide. So I'm going to set up for doing that, and we'll come back later and take a look at it. Okay, so I've got my, I flipped over my table, it's on the legs. I took my templates and I used the measurements that I had set on the other side to make sure I miss all my supports and everything. Took my old framing square, made sure I was square off of this side, laid out my line on the front at my mark there so that not only is it square and in good relation to one another, but visually it's going to look right. Sinks, of course, the other way around, but they'll sit like this. And so I've taken the templates and I've taped them on here, but I've also drawn an outline. So I'm going to try and follow the template with my jigsaw, but if something would happen, I've also got the line drawn on the wood so that I don't lose any of my locations here. So next thing, I'm going to get jigsaw and we'll start cutting some pieces out. Okay, I've got a drill with a bit. I'm going to use make a starter hole. I got my jigsaw with a relatively fine blade so I don't have any chip out. And we'll start over here, see how we go with this. Okay, so I got a starter hole. Here we go. went pretty good. Let's see how we fit. Turn it around the right way. Oh yeah, looks good. So I'm gonna take a break, cut the other one, and we'll be back when we got them in. Okay, so I got everything's put together temporarily here. I've got the sinks in, I've got the faucet in, put the back on, and I think the back's too tall, so we're going to shorten it up to about here. I've got a shelf that's going to go probably about here. Some utensils to go up, another little sign. And so going to take it back apart and shorten up the back. And then I'll probably start to work on the finishing part. So that'll be all for a while. Okay, we're back on this outdoor kitchen for children's kitchen, and I've got the pieces all made. I took them back apart, and I'm in the process of burning the wood. This is the only second or third time I've done this. It's kind of a learning curve. You want to test a piece of wood like what you're using. This pine, of course, has a real variation in the grain, and from narrow to a wider grain, it takes the heat differently. So I'm going to do a little bit here and give you an idea of what I'm doing, and we'll go from there. I'm just using a regular propane torch. And I go pretty fast with the idea I can come back and do it again because I don't want it real dark. If you want to really burn it like they show you do in the Japanese methods for protection from water, then you can really scorch it. But I just wanted to give it some color, and so I'm going fairly fast. Once you get the wood kind of heated up ahead of itself, it seems to take the heat a little better and be a little more consistent like there. And so I want some variation in the pattern. We just want to give it a weathered look and just add some color to it. Come back over it. I'm just wiping it off when I'm done, and then we'll come back over it with a poly, probably 2 or 3 coats of poly, and I think that's going to bring that color out and give us what we're looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this up, and we'll come back when we got it done, see what it looks like. Okay, so put 5 coats of Minwax water-based spar varnish on the top and the back both. Painted the legs with an exterior Pittsburgh paint, and I've attached the legs with 6 screws on each one so you can take them off if you need to. So going to turn the base over here pretty quick, and we'll set the sinks in and see what it looks like. So we've got the top there with the sinks. I'm going to stay back here and zoom in on that. I got 2 sinks with, and I've just got them set in there right now to make sure they fit. And we'll start working on getting them put in permanently. I got to put the baskets in and all that stuff. So do some of that, come back, see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm going to show you, this is our finished product. You can see I painted the legs. Got about 5 or 6 coats of spar varnish on all the bare wood. Put in 2 little sinks and a faucet. Got to get a connection for the faucet. Going to try and set it up so you could hook it to a garden hose. Got to place some hangers there for some utensils. the young man's name and sign on there, shelf on this end, and that's pretty much it. Came together pretty good, and got a couple little finishing things to do, and then we'll get them to him so he's got it in time to play on his birthday.